So, good day everyone, and I hope you're having a nice day today. So, our lecture for uh, this discussion will revolve around the renewable power sources in the farm. So, ever since the Industrial Revolution, yung energy mix ng most countries, including the Philippines, heavily reliant on fossil fuels. And we all know na the burning of fossil fuels brings about pollution. So, around 3/4 daw ng global greenhouse gas emissions result siya from the burning of fossil fuels. So, similarly, yung agriculture, reliant po siya sa mga non-renewable energy sources na to. Well, effective naman sila, like, para sa itong mga gasoline, sa itong mga diesel. So, while effective, they pose environmental challenges and sustainability concerns. So, di ba, para sa mga fuels na to, affected siya sa mga price hike kay depende po sa katong country na gina-source na to atong mga fossil fuel. So, in response sa challenges na ingani, yung sector ng agriculture sa Philippines and even other countries na mas developed, they are turning to renewable energy sources na solutions which are not only environmentally friendly but economically viable in the long term. So when we say economically viable, pwede na to siya ma-replace and dali na siya ma-replenish in the long run. So the renewable energy sources in the farm includes solar power, wind power, hydropower, and biomass. So, napuntay isa nga geothermal, pero in the context diri sa Philippines, it's not um, uh, heavily used. So, each of these sources offers unique advantages and can be harnessed to power different aspects sa operations na sa farm. Pero more on the kung direct bitaw, like from the renewable, more on sa pag-pump of water. Pero pwede man na to siya i-convert to electricity. So, from electricity, pwede na to siya mag-charge ta og mga atong mga stationary na mga machines or pwede po sa to power our homes. So, our learning outcomes for this meeting first is to differentiate the major sources of renewable power in agriculture and discuss the basic concepts of extracting or transforming energy from renewable power sources. So what do we mean by renewable di? Unsay kalainan sa renewable at say kalainan sa non-renewable. So yung renewable energy sa trend diri sa Philippines, gina-encourage na yung non ay gina-encourage na ang pag-use of renewable energy source. So, Philippines push for renewable energy yields record-breaking installations. So, in 2024 alone daw, according to the data sa Department of Energy, the country added around 800 megawatts or to be exact, 794 megawatts sa new renewable energy capacity. So, ang increase niya kay mga 40 or 50 megawatts from the previous year. So, ang target manggod sa Department of Energy sa Philippines kay ang renewable energy kay ang share niya sa power generation. So, sa total generation sa pag source of power or electricity nato sa country kay may mong 35% by 2030 and 50% by 2040. So, we're still far from that, but uh, I remember my previous professor in college, koan kanang they installed solar power sa house nila. So, 1 month billing nila, there's this certain months na zero ilang billing, pero dili lang po zero, naapay plus. So, they're not only, wala sila nakagasto og kuryente, but Meralco paid them money because ang ilahang solar power sa balay kay extra siya. So, since nanobra siya, direct siya to transfer siya sa grid lines na pwede magamit sa general public. So, nga na kay, although gamay ang, I cannot recall pila ang bayad per kilowatt, pero it's much lower sa kanang singil, mas much lower sa singil syempre ng per kilowatt sa Meralco. Pero it's a good thing kay we as consumers, so pohon if mag solar power mo, pwede po mo ka ng bayaran, so pwede po mo bayaran sa kuan sa electric cooperative if manobrang inyong electricity generation. So when we talk about renewable energy, we refer to it as sustainable as it is obtained from sources that are inexhaustible. So ang coal ang mga fossil fuels, although they are sourced naturally, kung ano sila, ma-exhaust sila, and para ma-replenish sila, it takes thousands or pila ka hundreds and thousands of years para makakapaging ana. So, renewable energy is a sustainable energy source which can be relied on for the long term. So, renewable energy in general include wind, solar. So, it includes wind, solar, water, biomass, and geothermal. So, sa farm, sa atong i-focus karon kay si wind lang, si solar, si water, and si biomass. Again, because geothermal is not readily used sa Philippines in terms of agriculture. So, when we talk about renewable energy, it is clean energy and non-polluting. So, many forms do not emit any greenhouse gases or toxic waste, unlike burning of fossil fuels, natural gas, oils, and also, it is cost-effective daw and efficient. But when we talk about cost-effectivity kasi, investment cost sa renewable energy is high pag ginagmay lang. Pero pag in a large scale and in the long run, when we weigh the cost, for example, nga mag-rely ka sa electric cooperative grid lines and or mag-invest ta og mga renewable energy sources, mas lesser jud ang cost in the long run sa renewable energy. Though investment cost is really high. So, also, renewable energy, again, is non-depletable, unlike the non-renewable energy, which is finite. So, renewable energy sources are those that can be replenished quickly or that are non-depletable. So, include solar. So, solar sa sun, dili man jud mahurot unless mawala ang sun. So, wala tay solar energy. And hydropower, the water, we have the water cycle, which we will discuss later on. Ang next topic na to. So, tuyo kang jud ang water. Although, nagagamay ang water na to sa kuan, ang water balance sa Earth, but generally compared to coal, compared to other non-renewable energy sources, water is non-depletable. So if you continue to use them at some point naman, dili gid sila ma-run out, unlike the non-renewable energy sources. So, ang mga example sa non-renewable energy, dito mo sila itong coal, itong petroleum, itong mga natural gases. So, we have this term called electricity. So, when we're talking about electricity, we're referring to it as a secondary energy source. So, ang electricity, dili na siya nahimo as itself lang. So, it means that we must use primary sources to produce it. So, unsa man itong mga primary sources, dito na itong atong mga renewable and non-renewable energy. So, later on, we'll discuss how electricity is generated from our renewable energy sources. So, again, So again, we talk about the renewable energy source in agriculture. So included lang sa itong discussion kay solar, wind, the biomass, and the biogas. So there isa lang na sila, and the hydroelectric. So sa inyong syllabus apil ang ocean, but in general, tubig man gyapon ang sa ocean. And ang ocean energy or ocean power kay dili pa siya nga naka-establish today to generate electricity sources. Pero dako siya potential. So from the energy sources, magpunta to o generator, and then transformer to distribution lines to homes or kanang sa farm, pwede. So the primary function of our transformer connected sa generator is to step up the voltage for efficient transmission or to step down, okay? From the energy source, from our generator, high voltage lines manggod na. So, kinahanglan is step up ang voltage because it has something to do with the power equation. P is in terms of resistance, in terms of current, in terms of voltage. So, kung mas taas mo ang voltage, I think the resistance is lower. Basta ang ginapataas, ano na lang, ginapataas ang kanang sa mga transmission lines kanang magdagan bitaw sa mga makita niyo sa dalan kay it has something to do with the costing sa pag-transmit niya. Tapos, ang transformer also is step down na niya. Kaya from the high voltage lines, mo nang ang nasa itong mga saksakan kay 240 volts na. Kaya atong mga appliances, syempre, dapat i-match po sa sa atong power plugs ang power requirement or voltage requirements sa itong mga appliances. So, ang transformer, mag-step down na siya or mag-step up. So, to ensure minimal energy loss during long-distance transmission. So, again, it has something to do with the costing, with the resistance, with the current. That is beyond the discussion of our class, pero just a brief background. So, and safe delivery of electricity to end users while maintaining constant frequency and power. So, on distribution lines, muna na itong mga makita sa mga dalan. So, from the home, munaog na din na siya. So, again, renewable energy is clean energy and non-polluting. So, first renewable energy that we are going to talk about is the solar energy or the sun. So, all power and life on Earth daw originates from the sun. Siyempre, tinuod man po kung photosynthesis nag-rely sa sun, kita, we rely on the sun para maghatag og kahayag kay kung walay sun, likod mo siga ang moon. So, there are lots of theories on how the solar system was formed. Pero, all of them ay naka-center dyan sa sun. So, including planets, moons, and others. Okay, kung mawalan ng energy ang sun, mawawalan din ng energy ang Earth. Pero, matagal pa naman yun. So, I think we would not be here on Earth by the time the sun loses its energy. So, still, it takes long time, so long period of time. So again, all power and life on Earth originates from the sun. So most of the incoming solar radiation, from the energy of the sun, so from the sun, tapos it is Earth ni, so nag-emit siya og radiation, nag-emit siya og rays, so what happens to the sun's radiation daw once it reaches the Earth? So most of the incoming solar radiation or the insolation is absorbed at the surface in the atmosphere. So we have the incoming solar radiation. Here, incoming solar radiation, which is 100 units. So let's just say 100 units siya, so 100%. So, muna si sun, tapos mag-emit siya og radiation mo ni part ni Earth, kanila ni. So, from the 100% solar radiation emitted by the sun that goes inside the Earth, so mo ni si Earth, kani Earth ni whole thing, including the atmosphere and the land. So, 100%, 51% of each is absorbed at the surface, 30% is reflected and scattered. So, we have this term called albedo. So, albedo is the fraction of the light that a surface reflects. So, again, albedo is the fraction of light that a surface reflects. So, if all is reflected, kunyari sa mirror, the albedo is equal to 1. So, kung pila ka percent ang ma-reflect, muna siyang ang equivalent nga value sa albedo. So, term lang ng albedo sa fraction of light nga gina-reflect sa ka-surface. So, in the case of the Earth, from the 100% solar radiation or insolation that enters the Earth from the Sun, 30% daw kay reflected and scattered back to the atmosphere. So, it follows that Earth's albedo is 0.3 or 30%. So, sa 30% dadto, from the 100% units, mato siya sa Earth, musulod sa Earth, 20% kay gina-reflect sa clouds. Tapos 6% scattered by the atmosphere and 4% reflected from the Earth's surface. So dili tanan incoming solar radiation kay gina-absorb sa surface, dili pod tanan gina-absorb sa atong clouds, dili pod tanan mobalik sa surface. So 30% mobalik. So sa 100%, kunyari natay clouds, na uban nga mo reflect back, na uban magstay sa clouds, na po'y uban nga mula po sa clouds. So, katong solar radiation na musulod sa clouds tapos mula po sa clouds, muna siya itong ginatawag og diffuse radiation. So, when we say diffuse radiation, muto siya ang kanang long wave. So, when we talk about diffuse radiation, it is the long wave radiation nga from the atmosphere, tapos musulod sa clouds, tapos mulapos siya ay hamadto sa surface. Muna siya atong ma-receive. So, from the 100% solar radiation, 19% adto kay absorbed by the atmosphere. So, magstay lang siya dara sa clouds, sa atong atmosphere. And 51% lang ng total solar radiation ang pwede natin ma-harness or pwede natin magamit. So, that is the combination of the direct. When we say direct radiation, diretso siya from the sun to earth, direct. Wala siya patumpik-tumpik pa. So, direct, which other term for direct is shortwave radiation. So, shortwave radiation is direct radiation. So, from the sun directly to the earth. So, that's what we call as shortwave radiation. So again, kung magtanaw ko pila percent sa sun's radiation ang pwede na ito magamit or readily available, it is 51%, both shortwave and long wave. So when we talk about shortwave, again, direct, from the sun to the earth, walay hapit-hapit. So when we talk about diffuse radiation, it is the long wave radiation. From the sun, napa siya yung mga terminal, napa siya hapit-hapiton, so mas hapit pa siya sa itong mga clouds, hapit pa siya sa atmosphere, ay siya musulod ma-reach sa surface or surface. So, again, 30 plus 51 plus 19 is equal to 100. So, from the 100% na solar radiation, 30% is reflected and scattered. So, reflected and scattered. So, the Earth's albedo is 0.3. 51% ay absorbed at the surface, and 19% is absorbed by the atmosphere and the cloud. So, dili tanan solar radiation na absorbed po sa atong atmosphere and sa atong clouds. Nahiuban nga mo balik, nahiuban mo lapos, so muna siya atong diffuse radiation. So, ang 51% mo lang na siya to ang, again, pwede magamit or pwede makuha. So, next is, so kani. So, in terms po sa solar radiation, may special location ang sun na when the sun is directly above us. So, yung shadow is nasa taas mismo. So, mano siya, natay tinatawag changing path of the sun. So, there's this special location of the sun. No? Kunyari, tao ni kitsa. Tao na. So, may special location ng sun when the sun is directly above us. So, muna siya si sun. I don't want to change colors. Okay. Wait, can I change colors? Let's change. Yellow si sun. Yellow. And so shadow. So night shadow. So there's this special location of the sun na when the sun is directly above us or directly above you and yung shadow is nasa baba mismo. So, sun right overhead and the shadow is directly below you and that is what we call the solar node. So, muna siya itong ginatawag og solar node. So, lahi ang solar node sa node. So, wait, I'm trying to remember the time of solar noon sa Philippines. Alas 2 man siguro, or alas 3. Basta dili siya alas 12. So, ako na nang dumduman. Nalimot ko. So, may special location. Ang sun, when the sun is directly above you and the shadow is right below. So, muna siya itong ginatawag solar noon. So, in this diagram, we have the changing path of the sun. So, we all know the sun rises from the east and sets on the west. So, ang araw mas mahaba during the summertime and mas maiksi naman pag winter time kasi mas maiksi yung lalakbay ng sun. So, as you can see, during the winter season or kunyari mga December, generally, the sun, yung path ng sun, mas maiksi lang yung ita-travel niya. So, ang distance is shorter compared during the summer. So, that's the reason why mas mahaba yung araw during the summer season. So, this has something to do with the changing position of the Earth's axis relative to the sun as it orbits the sun. So, naputi kinatawag og longest day mo na siya itong ginatawag summer solstice. So, summer solstice. So, this usually happens during June 21. So, longest day na siya. Nga naman kay it has something to do again with the changing position of the Earth's axis relative to the sun. So, diba, at oblique spheroid man ang sun, tapos ang earth, tapos nakatilt pa siya mga 20 something degrees yung tilt niya. So, again, depende sa panahon, depende sa months, kay ay times na mas mubo siya i-travel para maka-orbit siya sa sun. Tapos, ay times na longer. So, ang opposite sa summer solstice is the winter solstice. So, usually po, December 21 ang winter solstice. So, winter solstice. Pero, as you can see, ayan mostly sunny pag gantong mga sa diri na area, tapos shady pag dito na area. So, in the case of the Philippines naman, pinakamatingkad yung araw pag April and May. So, di ba, the depth and now, they're slowly shifting back to June, start of classes. So, because they tried to change it na, di ba dati, June and July, and may pasok pa pag April and May. Pero, the students, even the teachers are, magreklamo sila because init, so super init kapag April and May. It has something to do with our position, our position in the map. Tapos, sa kuan po sa ato ang atmosphere. So, despite having the longest sun exposure in June, start na kasi ng rainy season ng Philippines pag June, ideally. Pero karon kay medyo pabago-bago namang good because of climate change again. Pero generally, kaninga changing path of the sun, it is important na i-consider nato in ang location po sa pag-install og mga pag-harness na to og solar energy kay since dependent man ang pagkuha og solar energy sa sun, so magdepende siya sa location, sa position, sa atmosphere, and sa area. So, the sun's energy, we now go to the solar energy na discussion. So, the sun's energy travels at the speed of light and reaches the earth in about 8 minutes. So, gikan sa sun, bahalag layo kaayo ang sun sa earth, 8 minutes lang approximately ang time it takes for the sun's rays to reach the earth. So capturing the sun's energy is not easy since solar energy is spread out over such a large area. So the energy a specific land receives depends on the factors. So again, as stated earlier, time of the day, season of the year, tapos cloudiness of the sky. Kaya syempre, bahala pag June or kanang tingkad kay araw, pero namang tayo ginatawag og kanang climate sa mga local na tungakuan na sa kaninga karon nga area kay kanang weather na putay weather conditions. So kanina area kay cloudy karon. So di na mag-expect na dako ug kag makuha nga ang harness na solar energy. So also it also depends on the proximity to the equator. So again, the energy a specific land receives depends on the time of the day, the season of the year. So time of the day, season of the year, cloudiness, and proximity to dito musulod atong location to equator. Again, time of the day, season, cloudiness, and proximity to the equator. So, muna siya ang mga generally four factors. So, dagan pag other factors. So, the solar energy, by definition, is the energy that comes from the sun that supports life on Earth as we know it. So, solar energy can be used as a source of heat and light and can be used to generate electricity. So, one primary use of solar energy is home heating. So, there are two basic kinds of home solar heating. So, pwede siya active and passive. So, when we talk about active solar heating, it is used to collect and distribute energy. Collect and distribute. So, ang example ana kay natin ginatawag ko solar collectors. So, active muna siyang active solar heating. Napot ay ginatawag ko passive solar heating. So, in a passive system, the home is designed to let in large amounts of light. And katong pag musulod na kunyari may bahay ka, let in large amounts of light, and the heat produced from the light is trapped inside. So, a passive system does not really rely on mechanical equipment. So, example na kay kanang natay mga greenhouse, mga greenhouse structures na mag-rely sa wait a minute. Okay. Again, sa mga greenhouse na to nga mag-rely sa sun's energy to maintain the atmosphere or the temperature primarily inside the greenhouse structure. So, muna siya ang one primary use of solar energy, which is heating. And dapat tayo another classification of solar energy based on application. So first one kato solar heating or thermal or heat-based application which rely on heat energy coming from the sun. So the heat energy can be used directly to heat or cool systems or be transformed to other forms of energy such as mechanical or electrical. So dali example ani kay ng mga greenhouse structures na to. Eh, basically nag-trap sila og heat from the sun to maintain the atmosphere or the climatic conditions inside the structure. So another classification is the photovoltaic application, which rely on the illumination spectrum intensity coming from the sun. So, with the aid of the semiconductors, we have the solar cells. The illumination is transformed directly into electricity. So, we'll discuss it later on. So, mo na yung atong ginatawag sa kalainan sa solar cell, sa solar panel, sa solar array, and the solar panel system. So, as mentioned earlier, another primary use of solar energy is producing electricity. So, dili lang for heating itself. Again, pwede pang heat, pwede mag-produce of electricity. When producing electricity, dili na i-transform na nato ang heat energy from the sun to electric energy. So, the most familiar way is the use of photovoltaic or the PV cells. So, solar cells are semiconductors with silicon being the most common material. So, solar cells are semiconductor. Solar cells are semiconductor primarily made of silicon. Tapos, na-ingest, dili lang siya purely silicon. It has also a small amount of boron to create the necessary layer for efficient energy conversion. So, si boron, modifier lang na siya, pero its impact is big for the efficient energy conversion. So, the process is key to how sunlight is converted into electricity. So, natin ginatawag o solar cell, natin ginatawag solar panel, natay solar panel system. So, when we talk about solar cell, single na siya, cell. So, di ba, ang basic structure sa life, di ba, cell. Tapos, na siya, one solar cell typically measures around 36 squared inches. So, 6 by 6 inches. And kung i-grupo na to ang solar cell, then we form what we call solar panel. So, typically, they are 60 to 72 cells together, making a 250 to 400 watt panel. Okay. Ang isa ko solar cell, pwede 1 watt, 2 watts, 3 watts lang. So, pag i-group sila together, muna siya itong ginatawag solar panel. Pag daghan panels na, when they are wired together, so, isa ni ka-panel, si panel 1, si panel 2. So, when panels are then wired together, they make up what we call solar array. So, pag dili lang solar cells ang compose na, pag magsulod na ka og controller, solar battery, inverter, and other systems, muna siya itong ginatawag og solar panel system. So, muna siya ang hierarchy when we talk about the photovoltaic cells to produce electricity. So, solar cells, the smallest unit, group of solar cells make up the solar panel, and solar panels wired together, muna siyang ginatawag na itong solar array. And when we introduce other components such as inverter, controller, batteries, wiring system, and generators, transformers, and any others, muna siya itong ginatawag og solar panel system. So, the sun illuminates the solar cells in the PV array. So, kanang mo ni si sun, wait. So, the sun illuminates daw the solar cells in the PV array, which converts, ano siya si PV array again, kay group of solar panels. And illuminates the PV array, which convert the energy in the sunlight into electricity. So, it is the function of the solar array to convert energy from the sunlight into electricity. So, once converted, the power output or the electricity output then goes into the controller and the battery bank or the solar battery for storage. And then, the electricity from the PV array, typically direct current na siya. Usually, hindi. Direct current yun na siya, ang DC electricity yun ang output sa solar panel. So, kung ang motor nimo kay DC, you don't need inverter. So, the function of the inverter converts the DC to AC. Kaya ang nasa mga saksakan na to, most of our machines kay gagamit og AC. which is the usable electricity form to be utilized in the farm. Pero magamit na gyapon ang DC. So, the inverter one is optional in the solar panel system. Pero important yun nga natay solar battery. So, in solar systems man good, especially in agriculture, energy is often stored for use during non-sunny hours. Kay, syempre, sa dili man jud always magsigla si sun, tapos dili pud tanan nga kanang naisan productive hours na siya kay sometimes dili enough ang kanang energy nga ma-harness sa sun. So that's the function of our solar batteries to store energy for use during non-sunny hours. So solar batteries are engineered specifically for slow, steady charging during the day. So slow, steady charging during the day and gradual discharging at night. So our solar batteries are slow, steady charging during the day, and during night kay gradual night. So our solar batteries again are designed for slow, steady charging during the day and gradual discharging during the night, making them ideal for off-grid solar setup. So, various batteries can be used in solar-powered system. So, maraming batteries ang pwede gamitin, different types of batteries, ang pwede gamitin for the solar panel system. So, typically, they are made with one of three chemical compositions. So, when we talk about solar batteries, pwede siya made of lead acid. Pwede po siya lithium ion. And pwede po salt water. God, apologies for the handwriting. So, lead acid, lithium ion, and salt water. So, in most cases, si lithium ion, pink. So, si lithium ion is the best option for solar panel system. Pero, syempre, since solar energy, kailangan jud, dili man jud dapat ideal for me nga, ay, tungod best siya mo na gid atong option kay. We also have to consider the costing. So, compared sa tatlo, si lead acid is cheaper and reliable, but often require maintenance. So, it depends on your supplier or it depends on your budget talaga on which type of batteries will you use in your solar panel system. Okay, so here are minerals. So, in the context of agriculture, since we have crash course lang to sa how electricity is obtained from the solar energy. So, in the context of agriculture, karon kay kuan na ni, it is the solar-powered irrigation system. It is one of the projects of the Department of Agriculture under, I think, Bureau of Water and Soil Management, BWSM or NIA. Pero, it is one of the applications of renewable energy sources to power the farms or our farms in the Philippines. So, the SPIS is an irrigation system that use the photovoltaic technology to convert solar energy into electrical energy to run our DC or AC motor-based water pumps. So, pwede DC, pwede AC. Kung DC lang, optional C inverter. Pag AC motor-based water pump, required C inverter. So, it consists of solar photovoltaic modules, pump set, electronic controls to operate the pump, the required hardware, of course, and in some cases, other items like inverters again to convert from DC to AC and batteries. So, ang major components ng JUT is si PV modules, si pump set, and the controller. Pero very encouraged na si battery kay dili man although we don't pump sometimes during the night. Pero sa mga patubig manggod, based sa katong akong experience sa pillars kay sometimes they open the pumps for for 24 hours or 10 hours like pag nihit jud ang tubig. So basically the solar powered irrigation system, it is used in areas na kanang dili kayo kaabot ang mga kanang flowing na irrigation water. Okay, from the it is sourced from groundwater or from a reservoir sa kanang lagyo nga areas or kanang kailangan jud instead of relying pumps na kanang powered by fuel. So ginagamit na ang solar energy uh, to power the pumps. So again, normal lang siya na irrigation system. It's just that it uses the photovoltaic technology. So, in one time lang ka mag-kwan ng gasto ani tapos karon kay mga gobyerno kasagara ang subsidized ani sa atong farmers for them, especially on rice farm. So for them to be able to still provide the needed irrigation water requirement for rice farms. Kay sometimes again sometimes the place is not ideal. So, minsan, mahina yung water or mahal yung fuel costing. So, we are slowly shifting to the use of renewable energy in the farm. So, an example here is the solar-powered irrigation system in Barangay Malabog, Paquibato District in Davao City. So, this is very recent. So, this news article was published in February 2025. So, the installation of the SPIS is the primary goal of it is to provide farmers with an affordable and reliable irrigation system for high-value crops such as vegetables, pwede po sa rice, and also cacao. So, the SPIS is or will be crucial in mitigating the potential El Nino-related drought impacts, ensuring consistent water supply to sustain crop production. So, the responsible association sa Paquibato District na SPIS is the Patag Farmers Association in Malabog. So, they, according to the news article, they are the main beneficiary of the system. Okay. Just to inform you, mga kuan ang ginahatagan ng subsidies sa mga government kay typically mga farmers association or mga cooperative. So sa sa SPIS na project sa city government of Davao City daw kay the Patag Farmers Association. Although sila ang main beneficiary, the neighboring farmers can also access the irrigation service under the management of the association. So, this was published in February 2025 and according to that news article, fully operational na daw siya, expected to be fully operational by the second week of March. So, by now siguro, I guess, it is now functioning and it is being used na by the farmers of the Paquibato district. So, it is one example of the use of solar energy, or renewable energy, particularly solar energy, in powering our farms in the country. So, advantages of solar energy and disadvantages. Advantages, unlimited supply, since habang may sun, may buhay. So, habang may araw, may buhay. And it causes no air or water pollution. And the downside lang of a solar energy may not be cost-effective kaya investment cost is high and maintenance cost also. Pero in terms of longevity, I have not explored on that muna sa solar energy. Pero costly yun siya, investment cost-wise. Kaya kung mag-rely taong fuel, so ginagmay kanti naman tagi man ang magpalit taong fuel. So, tagi ang pag sa electricity. Tapos, kung solar energy, dakuan siya nga labas sa kwarta. So, also, disadvantage kay storage and backup are necessary. Kay, dili man 24 hours may rays sa sun. So, sa adlaw po, dili po tanan anak kay productive hours. And also, reliability on, again, depends on the availability of sunlight. So it depends on the location, depends on the season, depends on the atmosphere, the cloudiness, and also depends on our location on the equator. So that's all about the solar energy. Next, we talk about wind energy. So the wind energy, second na ni Sia, is the energy contained in the force of the winds blowing across the Earth's surface. So, what's the difference between wind and air? Basically, air is all around us. So, diba? We need air for us to survive. So, air is primarily composed of nitrogen and next kay oxygen, tapos carbon dioxide and other gases. So, the difference between wind and air, nga naman ka nang mingon ta magstay put lang ta, na air. Pero nga naman, sometimes yung tag-igang ta, so para igangon, kung igangon ta kaya tag-paypay, so kinahanglan na to i-move ang air. So that's what we call wind. So wind is air in motion. So wind is created when air that has been warmed, naturally wind is created when air that has been warmed over sun-heated land rises. Tapos, leaving a vacuum in the space once it occupies. Tapos, the cooler surrounding sa air, mag-rush na po siya to fill the vacuum. So, tuyok lang na siya. So, natay air, tapos ginainit sa sun, tumusaka siya, warm air rises, tapos na i-vacuum. So, cool air, munaog na po siya, tapos magtuyok na sila. So, muna siya ang natural creation of the wind. So wind is air in motion. The generate is caused by the uneven heating of the Earth's surface by the sun. So munang wind. And wind was another early source of power to increase productive capacity of the human muscle. So it has been utilized wind energy to propel the ships and the sea. So pares kayo makita mo. I hope you watch Moana. And I just recently watched Moana 2 and it's nice. So, just ina-advertise. So, Moana 2. So, di ba si Moana, sail, most of the time sa movie, sail siya sa sea. So, they depend on the wind for the ship to move. So, the sails, katong sail. Katong bitang marang adjust nila. So, change of direction. So, the sails propel the boat forward because of the lift created by the wind blowing across them. So, sa una pa, ginagamit na dyan na to ang wind energy. Dili lang dyan to convert electricity for us to power. So, sa itong mga boats, sa mga travelers, sa mga traders. So, nanagyod, ginagamit na dyan na to ang wind energy. And also, aside from propelling ships, wind energy served a variety of purpose like water pumping, milling, and also electricity generation. However, wind power is less limited for farm use because mahirap siya i-control directly and seldom available when needed because not all the time, not all areas are blessed with good wind energy. So, compared to solar energy, wind energy is less limited for farm use, cannot be controlled, and seldom available when needed. So, the basic components of a wind turbine, we have the rotor blade. So, muna siya ang gatoy ka ng blade. We have the gearbox, the generator, the nacelle. The nacelle houses excuse me. So the nacelle houses the gearbox and the generator. So this is the nacelle. Inside the nacelle is the gearbox and the generator. So within that, natin ginatawag power cables. The tower, kani siya the tower. So why is it na may tower sa wind turbine? And that's because pag sa ubos ng good, yung wind is obstructed by the various buildings, trees, and others. So kapag mas mataas, mas madami yung energy na pwede natin ma-harness. Pero, di po pwede nga magkataas o super taas po. Gina-compute po na, di po pwede nga super taas ng wind turbine mo because again, pera-pera lang yan. So, costing, mas mahaba, mas mataas rather, mas malaki yung cost kasi you have to establish a good base. So, again, kailangan tower lang to elevate to harness an obstructed source of wind. So, we have the transformer. Ito, step up or step down niya ang electricity generated. So, we have two types of wind machines used for producing electricity. We have the horizontal, this one, the horizontal, and the vertical machines. So, the horizontal machines have blades that look like airplane propellers. So, muna siya itong usual, yan sa mga Gisolife. Yan sa mga Gisolife nyo, muna siya airplane propeller. So, vertical machines look like giant egg beaters. So, kanang pang-whisk. So, kani siya. It looks like giant egg beaters. So, the vertical machines are easier to maintain and they can accept wind from any direction. So, pwede ana, pwede side by side. Unlike the horizontal machines, nga nila one direction lang iyahang pwede ma-accept na direction. However, also, they don't require protective features to guard against wind. However, it is horizontal machines that produce more electricity. And for this reason, siya ang reason why siya po ang ginagamit ay although vertical machines can accept wind in any direction, so multi-direction, and horizontal machines is unidirectional, it produces more electricity compared to vertical machines. So generally, these are our two types of wind machines. So when we talk about wind energy system, wind energy provides the energy that enables the wind turbine. Kaning wind turbine na wind mo agi may hangin tapos mo tuyok ang turbine. So ang pagtuyok sa turbine dili man jud ang wind ang mo power og kuan kaya makakuha gyud ang electricity kinahanglan man ginapatuyok man ang turbine. So pagtuyok sa turbine kana rotary power niya mag-produce na siya og electricity or power kay para sa atong mga engines we have the gatuod ay mong kanang sa fuel di ba dili man jud na diretso sa fuel. Kinahanglan dyan na i-pump nimo ang kanang na combustion may tabo inside the engine. So, ang pag-up and down sa piston, mo na siya ang magtuyok sa crankshaft, mo na siya ang mag-create og power mo nang modagan itong mga sakyanan. So, similarly, the wind energy system, ang ginapatuyok niya kay mo na itong ginatawag wind turbine. So, the wind turbine produces DC current that could be used to run a machine. So, an inverter again is needed to convert DC to AC. Okay, sometimes ang readily available, ang most used na to na form kay AC man. So, in addition, batteries also can be installed to provide backup power when it is not adequate enough to generate power. So, the theoretical power from the wind can be calculated using this formula. So, we have the air density. Power is we have the air density, we have the rotor area. So when we talk about rotor area, ang area sa atong blade. We have the rotor area, meter squared, and the wind speed. So gina-calculate po na ang wind speed. So the theoretical power from our wind is given by rho AV cube over 2. So air density can be 1.25 kilogram per meter cube. In other references, 1.225. So, depende sa reference. But generally, it's 1.2 something. So, this is the theoretical power na pwede na to makuha sa ato ang wind. So, again, rho AB cube over 2. However, there's a gist. According to the fluid momentum theory, it states that the maximum power or energy recoverable from the wind is only 16 over 27 or 0.5935 times the kinetic energy. So, kunyari na may nasolve na kunyari 40 horsepower. Theoretical. So, you cannot expect to harness 40 horsepower because there's this theoretical maximum na 0.593. So, to obtain the actual power, average, you have to multiply 40 horsepower by 0.593. So, around 0.6. So, 40 times 6, 24. So, mga 20-something horsepower lang ang ato ang magamit dyan. So, that's based on the fluid momentum theory. So, ano siya mga different types of blade. So, natay Sabonius. So, Sabonius mo ni siya tong vertical. Katubi itong mura o egg beater. Kung ano. Tapos, multi-bladed. So, ang pinaka-ideal na blade kay tatlo lang. Ay, tsaka. Wait. Yeah. Tatlo lang, ano. Kaya nga no matatlo, kundi nga no, kaya na, magkadaghan mo good ang blade, magkadako ang drag. So, mas lisod siya ituyo. Pero kung duha man good, maglisod, mag-cancel out man good. Kung nasa taas, lisod ipasaka ang nasa ubos, kaya nag-cancel out sila sa each other. So, 3 or 4 blades ang ideal na pwede gamiton to produce electricity. Dili po pwede nga magkadaghan ang imuhang blade. So, that's it for the wind energy. So, in the context of agriculture, there is sa Philippines, ang wind energy, dyan naman itong mga wind pumps sa Ilocos, I think in Rizal. I haven't heard in Mindanao though. Pero, kato sila mga wind energy, mga wind system na mga wind turbines to produce electricity na magamit sa grid lines na magamit sa mga consumers. So, ang example of the direct use of the wind energy in agriculture is the wind pump irrigation system. So, bago lang po niya siya, again, facilitated by the Bureau of Soil and Water Management. So, they implement wind pump irrigation projects. So, the implementation of the wind pump irrigation system includes new construction and improvement and rehabilitation of the existing system. So, the goal of that is to generate areas for intensive agricultural production. Kasi may mga areas na hindi abot ng irrigation system, malayo sa river, and also we need water in agriculture talaga. So, generally, SSIPS will contribute to the attainment of food sufficiency and security, increase farmers' income, and increase the sector's resilience to climate change, especially El Nino. So, ang components ng wind pump, we have the wind rotor. Similar lang sa katong kaganina. It's just that ang gearbox or the nacelle, the tail fin and tower, ang nalahil lang kay natay ginatawag reservoir, the water source, and the water pump. So, muna siya ang naka-unique lang na add sa wind pump na irrigation system. So, the wind pump converts kinetic energy from the wind to mechanical energy to pump water through windmills. So, yung output kay dili electricity, but it power, dili electricity nga pwede itong magpansakta, but electricity, mechanical energy to power the pump. To obtain fresh water from wells or also to drain water from low-lying areas. Okay. Kung nagkanong water, pwede po niya ginakuha ang water, so mag-drain siya ang water. So, the water, ang mga components niya kay umaguna ta sa wind rotor. So, again, wind rotor, muna siya ang responsible for converting KE to ME. So, the wind pump converts kinetic energy to mechanical energy. Pag gina-ask kung what specific component of the wind pump converts kinetic energy to mechanical energy, it is the wind rotor. And then, the gearbox converts the rotary motion into the reciprocating strokes carried downward. So, gikan sa gatuyok na wind rotor, gina-convert niya to up and down motion, similar to our engine. So, wala siyang up and down motion to pump mo siya ka ng ilang magbomba ng poso. So, kanang up and down, di ba na up, down, para magawas ang water. So, it is the gearbox that converts the rotary motion of the wind rotor to reciprocating strokes carried downward through a rod to pump cylinder below. So, the directional tail fin makes the rotor perpendicularly face the incoming wind. So, depende sa kung na wind source gani mo at tubang na siya perpendicular sa wind source. So, it is the directional tail fin that adjusts i-adjust niya ang pagtuyo. So, the tower structure is used to elevate the rotor to the desired elevation to obtain wind speed necessary for pumping water. So, mas mataas, mas maganda, but pera-pera lang yan. We have also to account costing kung gano'ng kahaba yung structure natin kasi minsan po, super taas, super lakas po ng wind energy. So, pwede nga masira yung system natin. So, also we have the reservoir or the tank. It is used to contain water or container used for storing water. And then, the water pump functions as the device used to lift water from the source. Tapos, the water source, manani siya ang pwede well, pwede river, pwede lake, pwede stream, pwede anything that nga ginakuhaan og water. So, basically, these are the components of our wind pump. So, again, advantages and disadvantages of wind energy. When we talk about advantages, it is free source of energy kay hangtod dili pa man pod bayaran ang wind karon aside sa kanang mga naka-oxygen tax, pero the wind around us is free. We are free to use it, so it is a free source of energy. So ang costing lang mosulod sa mga structures and the machine. So it produces no water or air pollution. Wind farms are relatively inexpensive daw to build, and land around wind farms can have other uses. The disadvantages lang kay constant and significant amount of wind kay heavily reliant on the wind tapos dili tanan areas kay blessed with strong good amount of wind. So second kay wind farms require significant amounts of land and then can have significant visual impacts on landscape kay yung natawa sa mga baybayin to imbis na kanang mga sunset unobstructed na nanay mga wind pumps na makita nimo sa imong view nga although it's nice, it's pleasing, but others find it unpleasant to die. So that's it for the advantages and disadvantages of wind energy. Next, we proceed to the biomass energy. So the biomass energy is another renewable source of power, just like solar and wind. So when we talk about biomass, it means any organic material that comes from plants or animals, such as crop waste, wood, and animal manure. So, biomass is the term used to describe all organic matter produced by the photosynthesis that exists on the Earth's surface. So, again, any organic matter, excluding fossil fuels, that was or is a living organism and can potentially be used as fuel. So, the most common examples kay wood, crops, animal waste. So, biomass has been used for thousands of years and it is the oldest known energy source. Why? Because burning of fuel, burning of wood, kay source na siya isa na siya ka-method of using biomass energy. So, diba, if will was the greatest invention of man, fire is the greatest discovery of man. So, diri mo sulod si biomass energy. Kaya ang ginagamit to have fire is mga wood. So, it is a renewable energy source because its supply is unlimited. More can always be ground in a relatively shorter time compared to our fossil fuels. So, well, forming types of biomass, you have the agricultural products, the solid waste, the landfill gas, the alcohol fuel. So, wood is by far the most common form. Okay, so, the most common form of biomass is wood, accounting for about 90% of all biomass energy. So, burning solid waste is a common practice and people have done it for thousands of years. Okay, again, fire was the greatest discovery of man. So if we have different types of biomass, we also have 5 main ways to turn biomass into electricity or turn biomass into an energy source. We have the gasification, the pyrolysis, the digestion, the fermentation, and also another kay solid fuel combustion. So first, we talk about solid fuel, so direct combustion system. So it is the most common and simple method. So it means we burn organic materials to make heat or power. So similar siya ka ng ano sa mga coal-powered plants. Actually, di ba, ang ginagamit man dyan na kay gapabukal yun na sila o water or something. Tapos, ang ginagamit lang ang ginagamit as fuel kay coal. So, burning of coal, so magbukal ang water, tapos ang turbine magtuyok. So, mura na siyang mga ginatawag sa coal power plant. So, when you talk about direct combustion system, ang ginagamit kay mag-burn o ganang wood. So, or mga other biomass energy. So, ang source of, pwede direct combustion system ka ng mga charcoal, mga ingunan ng mga uling. So, ang examples of direct combustion system kay cook stove, so like those used sa mga bahay natin. So, one example, isa na ka-example sa direct combustion system. We have furnaces, kilns, and ovens. So, baking, traditional oven system. We have also boilers to heat water for different farm uses. So, dili na musulod tong pag-generate of electricity. So, mga boilers. Okay, ginahit og water, tapos ang steam sa water, magtuyok, magkuhan sa turbine, tapos magtuyok, and other process na dayon to generate electricity. So, if you've used firewood or rice husk in the stove, you're also using biomass energy. So, I think it can't be denied that we have all used biomass energy, particularly the direct combustion system, at least once in our life. So another method is the gasification. So when we talk about gasification, instead of burning the materials directly, the gasification heats dry biomass to produce a gas called producer gas. So again, instead of burning the materials directly, gasification heats dry biomass to produce a gas called producer gas. So this gas can then be used to fuel gas turbines or internal combustion engines to generate electricity or run machines. So instead of using diesel or gasoline fuel, producer gas can be used to generate electricity or run machines using the internal combustion engine or gas turbine. So pwede po siya dryers and boilers for crop drying or steam production. So gasification is cleaner and more efficient than burning biomass directly and works well for larger farms or communities. Again, it's quite costly, but it is cleaner compared to ash sa burning. Tapos, it's cleaner and more efficient if used for larger settings or communities. So, muna siya ang general process of gasification. We have the dry biomass. Kaya itong gina-burn kaya ang dry biomass. So, first step is drying, to drive off water with heat. So, once we have the biomass, mawala na ni si vapor, mabili na to si dry biomass. So, using ang sa dry biomass, we then proceed to what we call the pyrolysis. It is heating without air to make charcoal. So, it is anaerobic conditions. Tapos, from the dry biomass, we can obtain charcoal, tar gases, and air. And then, combustion, tapos cracking, and then reduction. So, basically, ang product sa gasification, we have the producer gas, and diyang byproduct kay char ash. Next, kaning ginatawag na itong dimension ito ganina na pyrolysis. So, when we talk about pyrolysis, it is the heating of the biomass in the absence of oxygen. So, anaerobic, without oxygen. So, because there's no air, the material doesn't burn. So, unlike direct combustion na open air, so munang natin ash, ang ash magultid kung ano siya result of burning or combustion of our organic matter. So, in the absence of oxygen, dili mag-burn ang biomass, but rather ato ma-produce kay charcoal with low heating value oils and gases. So biochar without oxygen. So different si biochar from our ash. So an example of material used in pyrolysis is the mixed garbage waste sample. So it can go through pyrolysis and turn this into useful products. So biochar kana sa mga uling, syngas, and Biochar can be used also to improve soil conditions, while bio-oil and syngas can be used for burning to produce energy. Next, we have the anaerobic fermentation. So, and basically, anaerobic fermentation occurs when the bacteria break down organic waste in the absence of air. So, anaerobic, again, without air. So, the result of anaerobic fermentation is what we call the biogas, which is mostly methane. Mga 50 to 60% is of the biogas composition is 50 to 60% composed of methane, a gas that can be used for cooking, heating, or oven electricity. So the machine used for that, or the system used, is the biogas digester. And common materials used or feedstock used for anaerobic fermentation kay animal waste such as hog, chicken manure, pod waste from slaughterhouse. So the anaerobic fermentation is a great way to manage waste on the farm and produce clean energy at the same time. So here is an example of the anaerobic digestion. So the anaerobic digester, kani siya, is a sealed tank which organic waste is deposited. So muna siyang inlet organic waste. Pwede again, slaughterhouse waste, pwede gali waste sa tao. So sa farm, pwede hog waste, pwede poultry waste. So hog waste is mas dagan siya volume compared to poultry waste. So an anaerobic digester is a sealed tank in which organic waste is deposited. So over the course of about a month, there are different types of anaerobic biogas digester. So over the course of about a month, the waste breaks down in a process that does not use oxygen. So the byproducts of the decomposition includes the digestate, muna siyang waste, includes the solid and the liquid waste left after the digestion. Tapos pag na-digest na siya, nag-produce din siya og biogas na 50 to 60% methane. So kani si biogas, pwede na ni siya to kung dagkutan mo siga na siya, pwede po siya used as source na to produce electricity and other functions. So si biogas. Pwede siya pangluto. So kanang I have encountered, I don't know if I hope you're familiar with, kana sa itong sa mga Indian, magula na ka ng kaudang ilang ginagamit. So, they're actually using anaerobic fermentation. So, to light up their light stoves. So, kaudang, tapos, ang biogas from the kaudang, muna siyang ginagamit nila para pasigas nila ang cook stoves. So, again, biomass energy, pwede gamitin livestock waste, crops waste, energy, food waste. Tapos, in an anaerobic fermentation, we use this, what we call the system of what we call anaerobic digester. So, ang sa anaerobic digester, atong main product kay si biogas, atong byproduct kay si digestate. So, si digestate, pwede siya na to i-dispose or pwede po siya gamitin as soil amendment. So, magamit na gyud tanan walang waste basically aning biomass energy na paggamit nato kay ang byproduct pwede gamiton nato as soil amendments o fertilizer, livestock bedding. Tapos si biogas pwede siya to produce heat, to produce electricity or biomethane ginasagol sa kanang mga fuel para addition sa fuel na to power our cars and pwede po sa gas grid. So that's just for anaerobic fermentation. So in terms of biomass energies, advantages and disadvantages. Advantages is that biomass is abundant. Basically, it's all around us. And dili lang po tanan ideal. So, manang na mga studies nga ginatry nila nga, what if kani nga organic matter, what if kani siya gamiton? So, pila yung, kasagara gina-study kay biogas man nga pag-produce. So, pila makuha na to nga biogas or pila makuha na to nga bioethanol, Manang mga terms nga bio, anything bio from ng bioethanol, biogas is just gas that obtained from organic or natural organic sources or renewable sources. So, kanang ba, bioethanol, dili siya chemically made, so they are sourced from our organic matter that can be found all around us. So, it is abundant and renewable, again, biomass energy, and it can be used to burn waste products. So, instead of burning, pwede na to kana pag sunog-sunog lang di ay nadig yapon siya magamit na to. So, ang disadvantages lang niya kay burning biomass can result in air pollution. it can't be denied. So we have the Clean Air Act na bawal mag-burn, magsunog gali og mga bawal mag-burn og mga stuff o mga unauthorized people, and also may not be cost effective. So for example, anang mga bioethanol or bioethanol, kay corn wheat and other crops can be used to produce a variety of liquid fuels. Pero, ang kaapan lang kay the production is costly and the price of oil would have to be double to make the cost-effective option. So, ang sa natin ginatawag og gasohol, we have this thing called gasohol. So, gasohol is just 10% ethanol and 90% gasoline. So, 10% ethanol, 90% gasoline. So, gasohol is a much more competitive and can be used in a traditional gasoline engine. So, 90% gasoline ang 10% ethanol ana kay pwede siya from bioethanol or from our organic matter. So it has also higher octane rating. It is an important measure sa gasoline na to in terms of its efficiency. And it gasohol burns much cleaner compared to the traditional gasoline lang na kuan. Pero ang mga baligya, ang mga fuels, mix naman na sila. So, na-share ka na. Daghan ng additives ginasagol ana nila sa kanang mapalit na to nga nasa market. So next we explore the hydropower energy. So it is the fourth and power source. So the hydropower energy harnesses the kinetic energy of moving water to generate power. So historically, water wheels were used to grind grain, and some kaning mga water wheels to grind grain, saw wood, and pump water. So modern hydroelectric power plants. So this is a photo of Maria Cristina Falls sa NGCP located in Iligan City, Lanao del Norte. So Maria Cristina Falls. So kanang modern hydroelectric power plants use flowing water to spin turbines. So parehas sila so wind energy nga ginapatuyok na to ang turbine or sa mga kanang pag-burn na to og mga biogas para magpabukal gamit og boiler to spin our turbine. So similarly, hydroelectric power plants use flowing water to spin turbines, converting mechanical energy into electricity. So the hydropower energy is a renewable energy source beneficial in agricultural areas with access to rivers or streams. So sa una na kayo paggamit og water wheel. So as the water flows through the devices such as water wheel or the turbine inside the system, the kinetic motion of the energy of the water is converted to mechanical energy. So pag convert of mechanical energy can be used to grind grain to produce electricity also. So kinetic energy to mechanical energy to producing electricity using different hardware and different system or components. So parehas sa wind energy and the solar energy. So we have two types of water masses na pwede na ito magamit to harness hydropower energy. First is the flowing or falling of water. So streams and rivers flow due to gravity. So this movement can be directed through the turbines to produce electricity. So sometimes ang ginagamit sa Maria Cristina, from the Lake Lanao, located sa Malawi, so nai-river. So, kusog kayo ng aga sa anak niya. So, ang ginabuhat nila they have different stations, so they have different dams. So, ang pulo sa dams kay to store water, tapos sometimes ginapugan nila, tapos kung magpa-agas na sila, iparelease nila, so gina-control nila ang flow sa water para makontrol po nila ang pagtuyok sa turbine so to generate electricity. Kaya kung hinay ang aga sa river, so hinay po ang tuyok sa turbine. So gina-stock up sa nila, gina-stock up. Tapos pag mag-release sila, dito na kusog og tuyok ang mga turbine. So para makaproduce ng electricity. So it's sad to say na kung if you ever get the chance, although close pa siya, if you ever get the chance to visit Maria Cristina Falls in Iligan City, ang iyahang flow kay dili na siya natural kay gina-control na sa NGCP kuan ang flow of water dari kay para maka-generate of electricity. So second type of water mass movement is the rise and fall of our tides or the tidal movement. So the rise and fall of our tides influenced by the lunar and solar gravity can also be harnessed to generate power, especially in coastal regions. So dito na mosulod tong mga ocean energy pero it's not really, di pa kaya siya heavily used diri sa Philippines. So, kasagara jud kay kaning falling and flowing of the stream. So, both methods utilize the natural motion of water to produce energy without emitting greenhouse gases. So, similar sa wind power, so the theoretical power that can be harnessed in the hydropower energy is determined by the water flow rate, Q, and the height from which the water falls. So, muna siyang head. So again, the theoretical power is dependent on the flow of the water and the head. So ang height niya, kung sa siya kataas ihang babaan. So however, in practice, kay just formula rami sila. So in practice, the actual power output is less due to the factors like turbine efficiency and energy losses. So the mass flow rate is expressed by the velocity of the water. So unsa kapaspas ang water, the cross-sectional area of the stream, unsa kalapad ang area, and also the density of water, which is constant. 62.4 or 100 kilograms, or 1,000 rather, depende sa units. So, the mass flow rate of the flow of water is dependent on the velocity of the water, the speed, the cross-sectional area, gano'ng kalapad yung stream mo, and the density of the water. However, the actual power obtained from the hydropower energy is just 60 to 80% of the theoretical. So, 80% or in the average 70% lang because inefficiencies of various elements in the hydropower generation muna siya ang reason why nga no na ay mga losses. So one losses kay hydraulic losses in the conduits and the turbines, naman yung mga transmission losses, mechanical losses sa bearings in the power transmission system, and electrical losses sa mga generators. So, pagbalhin-balhin, presa nang mag-decant good mo o ka ng oil or something mo, palit mo oil sa tindahan. So, ibalhin niyo, nandiyo man yung losses. So, dili good always harness na to ang actual, ang theoretical power. So, it's only 60 to 80% ang magamit from the theoretical power obtained in hydroelectric power plants due to three types of losses: hydraulic, mechanical, and electric. So again, the overall effect is to reduce the theoretical power by a factor of 0.6 to 0.8 for average of 0.7. So how does the hydropower plant work? The discussion is very siya. Isod kayo siya i-discuss and very intensive. Pero basically lang summary lang in simple terms, water goes into the penstock cup pipe at high speed to the intake tower. So, flowing water, basically kasagaran yun katong flow of the stream or the river. So, musulod siya sa intake. And then, from the intake, it goes into the turbine wheel. So, sa pag-agi sa tubig, magtuyok ang shaft, magtuyok ang turbine, tapos magtuyok ang shaft. The turbine wheel spins the rotor of the generator and makes the AC electricity or DC electricity, tapos AC electricity. And then the electricity goes to the electric grid to be used in our homes, in stores, and in manufacturing plants. Basically, the water, tapos different processes. Ang ending na gyapon na ito, mapunta sa electric grid, and na magamit na ito is to useful energy source. So, advantages of hydropower energy: first, abundant, clean, and safe. Second, easily stored in reservoir, relatively expensive way to produce electricity, and offers recreational benefits like boating and fishing. Kay wala man gyud tay mabawas sa water, ginapadagan naman nato ang water para motuyok ng atong turbine. And water basically is all around us, although there's na mga areas na really blessed with water, pero later we'll discuss on the water cycle. So, the disadvantages lang of hydropower energy is first, can have significant impact on the environment. Kaya imo manggong gina-modify. So, para sa Maria Cristina Falls, dili na natural ang iyang flow. So, maapektuhan po ang mga, syempre, di naman tawag ka po yung sa kalibutan, so naapektuhan ang kanang system sa zone, ang mga fishes or ang mga um, immediate environment nga gina-source sun sa hydropower energy. Second, kay can only be used when there is water supply similar sa wind, dili tanan areas abundant with water supply. And third, kay best sites for dams have already been developed. So that's it for the four sources of renewable energy in the farm. First kay solar, second kay wind, third kay biomass, and fourth kay water. So thanks for listening. If you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to chat in the GC or approach me sa office. So hope you have a good day. Thank you.